that science has no explanation for. So there are people who want us to abandon religion and to follow science. In reality, they have turned science into a false religion. Whereas science is supposed to just be a tool. Science and religion are two different things. Like the Holy Quran is not a book of science. The Holy Quran is a book of guidance. The Holy Quran is a book of wisdom. The Holy Quran is a book of revelation. Science was supposed to be a tool for us to understand the universe around us and to understand ourselves, so that we recognize the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who have turned science into a religion must understand the weaknesses of science. Science has no explanation for consciousness, for desire, for awareness, for comprehension, for choice. There are even phenomena in the natural world that science has no explanation for. For example, static electricity has no explanation. They have given theories, but they have given no concrete evidence or concrete explanation that fully makes sense and is accepted by all scientists. Even, I was listening to the radio the other day, and the person who's being interviewed on the radio, he said that even the way that cement works and how water mixes with the other molecules and solidifies, but doesn't solidify completely. There's something known as concrete creep. Something is built out of concrete. You think it's solid, and you think that all of the material inside it has set. But if you observe it 5 years later or 10 years later, the concrete moves slightly. And the scientists say that's because all of the molecules inside it have not set. And this individual on the radio was saying that we still haven't fully understood how the mechanisms are working with the water and the other materials that are at play when concrete sets. So when you haven't even understood this, how can you rely so much on science and say that you have to only believe in everything science says? And the other thing about science is that theories always change. Just a few decades ago, the model of the universe that was taught in schools and universities is completely different to the model of the universe that's taught today. When I was in school, not too long ago, we were taught that Pluto was a planet. Now, kids in school are told that Pluto is not a planet. Later on, they might add another planet, or they might remove another planet. The theories of science are always changed. So, we shouldn't get fooled by this dogma or by this viewpoint that is seemingly being forced onto our young people, especially in the West, that science has all the answers and religion is just mumbo jumbo. Nothing could be further from the truth. Science is useful in its own place. Science has its uses. And if we look into history, it was the Muslims who were the founders of most of modern science. It was the Muslims who were giving all of the advancements to science that Western science now builds upon. So Muslims were never opposed to science. Muslims were never opposed to knowledge. As we've begun on the first slide, we showed how the Quran itself tells us to pursue knowledge. And science is a form of knowledge. However, we need to understand that science does not always give definitive answers. A theory is just a theory. A theory is not the same as fact. So, hopefully by now we've understood that science is a tool for us to understand the phenomena that we observe in the universe. There's a professor of theoretical physics in Cambridge, and this is a quote by him. He says, "Understanding science doesn't make God smaller. It allows us to see His creative activity in more detail." And this is exactly what Islam teaches us to use science for.